Farm Bureau. Southern Miss opened Sun Belt Conference play this weekend by going on the road to San Marcos, Texas, where it was probably warmer than it was here, at least in the northern part of the state, to face Texas State. Played 3 games, won the first one, and then lost the last 2. And Scott Berry joins us right now, head baseball coach at Southern Miss. Obviously, Coach, a disappointing weekend. I was kind of thinking about the baseball weekend as a whole, with you guys, with what happened for Mississippi State, with what happened for Ole Miss, and kind of reminded this game's hard sometimes.
It really is, Richard. I'll tell you. And sometimes it's just a pitch here or there, or a swing here or there, or a play here and there that can be the difference between winning a game, winning a series, or even sweeping a series. In all honesty, and kind of that was the story with us. I felt like on Saturday, a couple of bats here and some situations, totally different game. And I think if you look at our record right now, we're 12-7. Of those 7 losses, 3 of those are the same scenario that I witnessed on Saturday, just right there to be gotten, and we just didn't toughen up and get it done when we should have.
How do you, as a head coach, avoid just driving yourself crazy when maybe you're not playing as well as you would like, or your record is not what you want it to be, and kind of going back and replaying the season? You're like, you know what, if we make a better pitch there, if we lay a bunt down here, if we, don't kick that ball there, then we feel completely different.
Well, I think there's a time and place for everything and how you react. Certainly, I think that we would love to just go crazy and, kick things and throw things. But, I think when you look at it, one thing that creates that kind of way of dealing with it is not competing. When your guys aren't competing, or they're just mentally making mistakes that beat you. But, as long as your guys are competing and you feel like they're giving the effort and that what you've prepared them to do, then certainly you move forward and you try to learn from those missed opportunities. There's a lot to be learned from losses, and certainly, but you have to be mature enough to do that and moving forward to try to win games, in the future.
Do you feel like you're getting that from your team? Like they are still playing hard and they are, for the most part, executing the plan that you're putting in place, with the exception of a few mistakes?
I do. I think there was one time this year where I kind of had to go to another side with them, and challenge them a little bit. But outside of that, I think our guys have played hard. It just, unfortunately, it just hasn't come together. Yesterday was a day of walks, for us. We walked a lot of guys and gave up a lot of freebies. And, certainly in those situations, you'd rather your guys get hit and they earn it than just give it to them. But, we could have won that series out there against a really good Texas State team who won 47 games, I think, last year, and probably should have hosted a regional. Very good club. And have played good, beat TCU on Wednesday night at their place for a big game. So but Saturday was the game that, we look back and we say, we missed on the opportunity, should have won it. And if we did, we would have won that series.
So in game 1 that you win 4-2, you get what, 5 1/3 out of Tanner Hall, and then you hand it off to Cross Sibley, and he goes the rest of the way. Is he the guy that you trust the most right now out of your bullpen?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he has shown to be the guy to go to. Obviously, you can't go to him every game, so we've got to have other guys step up. But, in that particular game, Tanner went a solid 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs, but neither one of those were earned. And Sibley took over for him in the 6th inning with runners at first and second and 2 out, and he got a big K to end that inning, and then just pitched 3 solid innings after that, only giving up 2 hits and no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. So really dominated in his outing and saved our bullpen for the next 2 games. So tremendous job by both Tanner and Cross Sibley on that Friday night.
All right, so you lose a 1-run game on Saturday, and I think that's the one that you were maybe both games, but specifically Saturday in a 1-run loss. Was there a moment that you point to where you're like, okay, this was the difference in the game?
Well, I I think there was 2 innings. We took the lead in the first, top of the first, scored a run there with 2 outs, and then in the bottom of the first, they answered after 2 quick outs. It all happened in that 2-out situation. They hit 3 straight consecutive doubles. We walked the guy, and then they had a base hit, and now obviously they got 2 runs and we're down 2-1. But it was a 6th inning of that game there where it was a 3-2 ball game. Texas State was winning, and we had runners at second and third and nobody out. And really the guys that we wanted up, and we went K, fly out to short, shallow left field, not deep enough to tag the runner. And then, of course, you always get that 2-out fly ball that you needed in the first 2, which Blake Johnson hit to the warning track, but unfortunately, it's caught and for the 3rd out. So that was a big moment, a big turning point in momentum for their team. We could have gotten their starter out right then, but we missed on that opportunity and really gave a good team a lot of momentum. And of course, both teams were 0-0 after that, so lost 3-2.
Yeah. Visiting with Scott Berry, head baseball coach at Southern Miss. I think it's been maybe since before the first week of the season where we talked about some of the new pitch clock rules and some of the just clock rules in general that are part of the game this year. What has been the effect that you have seen with your pitchers through the first 19 games of the season with the emphasis on the pitch clock, trying to move things along a little quicker?
I think in the games that we've played right now, which we've played 19 games, I think there's only been 4 violations. I think we've had 2, and one of them was this weekend. We were called for a ball. Our pitcher took past the 22nd, and the same thing was with their team. There was a ball violation with 20 seconds. But outside of that, honestly, Richard, I have not seen a whole lot. I think everybody's adjusted to it. It certainly helps to have a visible clock where everybody can see. Texas State, they did have that, and that helped. The other night when we played at Ole Miss, they had both one behind home plate, one on the outfield wall, which I think is SEC rules. Obviously, next year with the Division I schools, that will be mandatory for every facility to have that at the D1 level. So, but right now, if we don't have what we can see, we have to rely on that umpire that's at third base with a stopwatch, and you have no clue really where you are. So you have to work fast and work short and giving your signs and hope your guys get it.
I talked to a pitcher from South Carolina yesterday, and he said that he has tried to make that rule work to his advantage, that he feels like maybe a pitcher can actually get a batter a little more uncomfortable. Have you seen that at all, where hitters are maybe more uncomfortable dealing with it than pitchers are?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's of course, the hitter has the 10 seconds. They have to be totally committed to the pitcher at the 10-second mark.
Right.
And the pitcher obviously gets another 10 seconds for a total of 20 seconds before he has to start his delivery. But, yeah, there was a team that we played earlier this year that, I mean, as soon as I got through giving signs and the batter, and it was about at the 8-second mark, the batter would put both feet in, and next thing you know, I mean, this guy's starting his delivery. And, Of course, you have to tell the umpire, hey, this is not the intent of this rule, that we're doing, for them to quick pitch in. You're going to have to control it, and game management's going to have to be a real issue for them, and being able to handle that and making sure that it does kind of apply to both ways. But, yeah, there are, and that's probably what the South Carolina guy was implying, that he can speed things up and kind of control it a little better.
UNO on the road tomorrow night, then Georgia Southern coming to Hattiesburg this weekend. Another busy week, as they all are during baseball season. Scott, thanks as always for your time. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Appreciate